This is the HaltingWinter podcast. My name is Seth Winterhalter. I'm your host for today. The topic is, what is a small business? What classifies as a small business? Are you a small business owner? And when do you move to a medium-sized business? When are you, and is it even important? Well, that's what we're going to chat about today. I want to talk about what are some of the, really why it matters, what you want to think about when you're thinking about being a small business owner. And why is this an important topic for us? Because HaltingWinter exists to help small business owners. We want to take the stress out of owning your business. How do we do that? We want to give you a framework. We want to give you a strategy and a structure that helps you take the stress out of work and make it fun again. We want small business owners to enjoy. That's why you have a small business. You didn't want the daily grind of the 9 to 5. You didn't want to be told what to do. You wanted to do something impactful. You wanted to do something amazing, and you wanted to enjoy it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the stress out of your work and make it fun again. And here's the big thing. We're going to make it more profitable. We want you to make money. Why? So that you can invest into your life, into your family, into the people, and into your community. We want you to be able to grow and scale so you can hire more people and impact more lives with your products and services and with your business. So, how do we do that? Well, the first thing is we understand what it means to be a small business and how we grow that business. That's what we're going to talk about today. What is a small business? Well, it's different based on what country you're in, what industry you're in. There's so many different qualifications, so many different expectations when it comes to those definitions. But a small business can be a sole proprietor, can be an LLC, it can be a partnership, it can be a corporation. It really can be all of those designations. There's really two things it comes down to with wherever you're at in the definition of small business. Number one, it's the number of employees. A small business will have usually a limited number of employees, so we'll look at that. Number two, it's their income is below a certain value. So how many employees do you have, and what is the income? What is your income value? How much gross revenue are you making? Now, I say that, and as we get into this, we're going to see that sometimes that's not applicable at all. So it is kind of a messed up system, and it depends really who's asking. Why is it important? Because there's legal obligations, there's access to assistance, and so if you are a small business, know that there are loans, there are assistance programs that you can take advantage of. That are great helps to you. So it is important, if you're a small business, to understand that there are some tools and resources available to you that you might be unaware of. And so that may be a future podcast, us talking about some of those resources and how you might use those to grow and scale your business. Now, as I was saying, a small business, that designation is even different based on industry. I'm just going to choose three here. I looked at farming. In farming, in America at least, it means you have to make less than $750,000 in sales. So if you're selling crops, if you're selling beef or chicken, whatever you're selling on your farm, you have to sell less than $750,000 to be qualified as a small business. Here's what's interesting: you can have as many employees as you want. There's no limit on the number of employees. So already when I said it's a limited number of employees or a limited number of income, that's already false when it comes to farming. You are just capped by your revenue, your sales. Now in manufacturing, it's different. In manufacturing, you can have, depending on the type of manufacturing, up to 500 and even up to 1,500 employees. Again, it depends on what you're manufacturing. It depends on the products. There is no revenue limits when it comes to manufacturing. It's all based on the number of employees. So again, it's an oddity, and it depends again on the products. So it's not even on the whole of manufacturing. Here's one. What is this? Refill? I can't read my own handwriting. This is awesome. What in the world did I write here? What? So odd when you can't read your own handwriting. Anyway, what is this industry? Well, this would be like sales, maybe a dealers. For instance, I put a new car dealers on here. A new car dealer Usually it's retail. The word is retail. Awesome. It looks like an F. And I'm like, refoil? What? Retail. In the industry of retail, there are no employee limits except fuel dealers. If you're a fuel dealer, you can only have up to 100. If you're a new car dealer, you can only have up to 200 new employees. I guess in others, you can have, if you're the Gap, you can have as many as you want. Now, you are limited in revenue, but depending on the kind of retail you do, that limit could be 7.5 million, or it could be up to 38.5 million, right? And just, again, it's like the wild, wild west. So you've got to go to wherever, and now it's different for the IRS. The IRS has specific resources, and they would actually say, the IRS has a general statement that if you are a company under $40 million in assets, we consider you a small business. For the Affordable Care Act, there is, if you're under 50 full-time employees, you are considered a small business. If you're over 50 full-time employees, you're considered a medium-sized business, and then it goes up from there. So again, it depends on who you're talking to and why and what resources and what tools are available to you. Why do I say that? Why do we spend time? Well, I thought it was curious. Thought maybe you'd be curious. Here's what I want to talk about. Here's what I think it is important, is you are either, maybe you are thinking about starting a business, or maybe you are in the weeds of a business and you're trying to grow and scale and build this thing. And this might be a helpful framework to think about. Phase one in a business is you. You have an idea, you have a concept, you begin to get the balls rolling. Maybe you're going to apply for your name and your EIN number and your articles of incorporation. You're going to choose, you're going to be an LLC, a sole proprietor. You're starting to make decisions. And then phase two is you plus some people, meaning kind of some contracted. Like maybe you're not even paying for this. Maybe you have a friend who's an accountant. Now you're trying to seek some information. You're trying to go, well, what do I do? Do I do a sole proprietor? Do I do an LLC? Maybe you have a friend that's going to give you some advice. Maybe you're starting to pay for some of that advice. Maybe you're going to look at getting an accountant from the get-go. Maybe you're going to start talking to a web designer because you need a website, because maybe you're going to sell some products and you need a landing page. All of a sudden, you're going to have some people, and it's probably going to be more contracted. There's no reason, probably, it just totally depends on what industry and what you're doing, but it starts with you, and it starts with an idea, and it starts with some forward momentum. And then you may be able to take that momentum quite a ways. You may be able to actually be in business by yourself doing all the things that you can do. You're such a skilled generalist that you can do all these things. You may be able to do those for years by yourself. Probably not. That's probably not the best way to grow a business, nor the fastest. You probably want to start getting some people who are skilled to be able to either give you wisdom or assistance, right? You need maybe a VA, an accountant, a designer, web designer, graphic designer, logo work. You're going to need some people, but these people are probably going to be contracted. And so that's even to think about if you're thinking about starting a business. Who are the people, what are the areas that maybe I'm not skilled at and that I might need around me to help move this business forward, to help birth this business even, get this plane off the ground. Phase three then is you don't just have contracted contracts with people, or not even contracts. You're not just having people consult and help from the outside. Now all of a sudden you're bringing in employees. You're bringing in people that are really under your banner, under your company. You have payroll. They may be part-time. They may be full-time, but they're your employees. They are a part of your organization. You're not sourcing out right to graphic designer A and just using them. Even they may be on a retainer for you, but I wouldn't say they're an employee yet. These are not, that's still phase two. Phase three is you have employees because now you have payroll. Now you have, if I'm contracting work out to a web designer, they don't need to believe in my mission. They need to know my mission. They need to know my wordsmithing and why things are important to me. But they don't have to, I'm not holding staff meetings with these people. When you have employees, these are the people that have to embody your mission. You are now in charge of the culture you're creating with these people. And so things change. The way you do business changes. You do that in your mind, right, in phase 1 and 2 by yourself. Now you've got to do it with others to make sure that you are all rowing in the same direction. I believe that phase goes up to about 12. And it's both, it doesn't matter if they're part-time, full-time. Once you get over 12 employees, you have to bring in other people to start managing people. It becomes too many direct reports. You are going to be in the weeds. You begin to not function in your role, right? You can't be a babysitter. You have to give vision. You have to give mission. You now become the person, right? You've been leading these people, and when you have those employees, right? You don't get to just sell now. You don't get to just do whatever you're doing. Now your job is to lead these people to make sure they're producing fruit to move your mission forward. Once you get over 12 employees, that is too many direct reports for you. You are going to be so in the weeds of fighting fires and doing that kind of staffing admin work that there's no way to move the mission forward. At least I don't think so. I think you're right around the corner of burnout. Phase 4 then is you begin to hire, or you probably are going to develop some of those 12 people, or maybe you're going to hire from the outside, leader of leaders, people that now lead right departments, people that lead teams, people that, so you are going to start to shrink your direct reports from those 10 or 12 down to 3 who then oversee teams, if that makes sense. So you can continue to grow and scale. It's going to be you, it's going to be key leaders, and then it's going to be your employees. You are now leading overseers instead of you being the only overseer of the group. So hopefully that helps you, at least when it comes to the small business. And we're going to talk about more about this in the next podcast when it comes to how to grow a small business. How do I think about staffing? This really is that question. Like, where are you in the phase? And are you preparing yourself? Are you thinking, how are you surrounding yourself with the right people? It can't just be you. That's one way to get bogged down. It's one way, our whole mission is to take the stress off small business owners. If you want a lot of stress, you be involved in everything. You overwhelm yourself with every little decision. You try to learn all the skills of whatever it is that you need. And that's what you'll find out real quickly. To run a small business means, man, there's so many components of a business. It's not just having a passion and having an ability to produce a product or a service. There are so many aspects, from marketing to sales to cash flow to, right, all these things that you have to see, you have to have intentionality towards, or else they end up going off in really destructive ways. So, some questions. Where are you at? Where are you at in those phases? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you doing the majority of the work? Are you doing the work plus you're trying to where are you at in the hiring process? That can be hiring contracted work or it can be hiring employees. Excuse me. Are you in the process where you're trying to hire people then to replace you? You're trying to replicate you? Are you overseeing people? Are you trying to, are you in that mindset of removing yourself? A lot of business owners, they get stuck. Like they just, I can do it the best. And so they don't want to take the dip. You're going to have a dip whenever you bring someone on because they're not you. They don't have your mind. They don't have your experience. And so, yeah, you're going to take a dip, but that's okay because it's going to free you to move higher in the organization so that you can actually scale. If you can't shed off responsibilities and train up people to take over for you and embrace a little bit of that dip, you're gonna head for burnout, or you're just not gonna grow and probably stagnate and move backwards. So oversee people, oversee and develop leaders, multiply yourself. Okay, what's a small business? Well, there's some thoughts. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that inspires you and starts to get you thinking creatively about where you're at in your organization. And even if you're thinking about building a business, where you're going, what's ahead of you, how to think even in layers to cast yourself a vision that leads you towards a healthy, thriving business instead of one that overwhelms you. So again, if we can help take some stress off of you when it comes to your leadership, your marketing, your sales, your operations, and overhead, your cash flow, all the core elements, your products and services, when those 6 elements of your business, those we want to make sure those things are humming, that you have key frameworks to make sure those things are not only operating at peak performance, but they're operating in tandem together so that your business, it has a clear mission ahead of you, and you are taking that mission day by day, week by week, month by month, until you continue to make more profit, continue to make more impact. If we can help in that, hit us up, HaltingWinter.com. Hit me up, Seth Winterhalter, on all the socials. Would love to have just a conversation and encourage you in your journey as a business owner. Until next time.